Hey guys, so after that discussion last weekend about how to grow paddle sports, I got to do some more thinking here. And I'd have to say this year in 2020, I have never seen so many paddlers come into the sport. This has been a year of a pandemic, and there have been a lot of people going out and buying kayaks to find a way to get out and get exercise and still stay socially isolated and socially distanced from each other. So this sport has actually grown more than I've ever seen it before. Our job to help promote that is to keep these people into paddling by lowering the barriers for them. I can only talk about tangible steps I've taken in my own paddling career, and that is I started a local paddling group on Facebook here in Charlottesville. It's called the Rivanna River Paddlers. We've got over 700 members now, and what we do is every Wednesday after work we come out here for a recreational paddle. Everybody is welcome. And there's some discussion about boats and paddling there, mostly not. It's mostly just people being social and talking, not so much about boats all the time, but sometimes it goes that way. But I think more importantly, online in the forum and the Facebook group, there are discussions there where just you can be helpful. So if there's not a local group where you are, start one. Aggregate local paddlers together and then just interact with them, tell them when river levels are safe, organize paddles, just be a resource. And the more people you can get, more interested into the sport, the more likely they are to stick with it. We also have a local river race here that's been going for almost 15 years now. And aside from the very first year when I didn't know about it, I was heavily involved in the planning and organizing of that race. So that's another great way. If somebody's not doing a local race where you are, go ahead and start one. And a bit of advice I would give you is have lots of categories, and I would debate this with other organizers all the time. You have to have enough categories by male, female, and boat type so everybody who enters feels like it was fair, like they're competing against similar people and that they had a fair shot. And my argument always was err on the side of giving away too many medals, for the cost of a $2 or $3 medal. You want somebody to feel like they had a fair shot, not to give medals away, but you want people to feel like it was fair, because if they enter a category against a completely different boat type or a completely different level of paddler, they're going to feel that that was not fair, and they're not going to come back in future years. So organize a race, make it child friendly if you can, organize it by boat type, division, so they seem fair. And I would always allow, and I would tell people at the starting line and finish line, there's always going to be somebody who shows up in some weird, wild boat that we didn't anticipate. Be prepared to create a category just for them if it makes sense. If they're paddling something or they're at a skill level so unlike the rest of the paddlers, keep the door open to just create a special category for them. Not for them so much, but for everybody else. So everybody else feels like they didn't get lumped in with some ringer or some boat that they had no chance against. It's a way to separate them out, put them in their own categories so everybody else feels like everything was fair. So these are tangible things you can do. Start a local paddling group, interact with it, stay in touch with people online, create a racing event. And let's face it, when I talked about growing paddle sports, everybody interpreted that to mean something different. Some people thought that meant surf ski paddling. Other people thought it meant competition and race paddling. I just mean in general, let's get people into the paddle sports. Some will eventually maybe progress up the curve and want to go faster and whatnot, which is great. I think locally that's happened here 2, maybe 3 times over the years. When that happens, it's great. It's great when people see that interest. But the vast majority of people are never going to go to that level. So that's the key, is to reach out to those people and keep them in the sport and help them become ambassadors for the sport. Yeah, you'll have your opportunity to chat with them and talk about other aspects, and that might spark some interest. It might not, but it's most important to engage the community, keep an open dialogue, and be helpful, give advice, whatever it is. So there are some tangible ways to grow the sport. As I said above here and blogged about, it is not up to the boat manufacturers to come up with a boat design that appeals to some mysterious unknown group of paddlers who otherwise wouldn't enter the sport. Those people don't exist. There's so many wreck boats out there now, and they're so affordable. It's not about boat type, and at the elite levels there's so many skis, there's so many good options already. It's not like there's a shortage of boats. There's no one boat that's going to come along and change the complexion of competitive and surf ski paddling. And you know, those guys, those companies need to sell probably hundreds of units to get their money back, and they're not going to do that and experiment with something that's completely unknown before they know there's going to be a payback. So that's just unrealistic. It's not up to the boat manufacturers. It's up to us. It's up to us to get people into our community, educate them, teach them how to be safe, and grow the sport. All right, take care. I'm going to go paddle. As you can see, we got a lot of rain here, so this is going to be more like a demolition derby here. I'm going to be trying to avoid all this debris in the water. We're going to see what happens here. It could be fun. It could be a short paddle, but I'm going to give it a shot. All right, take care.